Hello all, I am Sai and you're watching The Book Dragon. In today's video, I'm bringing to you my review and discussion of Chain of Gold by Cassandra Clare. This is the first book in the Last Hours series, which is the sequel to the Infernal Devices. This video will not be entirely spoiler free. I'll be jumping into spoilers after the first few minutes, which will be spoiler free. While I get into spoilers, I'll let you know. So let's just get into the video right away. If you've not read the Infernal Devices, you need not worry because I'll not be spoiling that series or any of the other Shadowhunters books in the spoiler free section of this video. So let's just get into the various segments of the review now. Before getting into the review, just after I finished filming this video, I got a package. Okay, this is a Shadowhunters book and I'll just show it to you what it is and unbox it in front of you guys. After unwrapping the package for nearly 5 minutes now, I can't believe this is happening. See here. Finally, I got the book. Okay, this is the book, guys. It's The Course of True Love and First Dates, a Magnus Payne story by Cassandra Clare. Okay, I'm very happy that I received this today, and the condition is pretty much pristine. Okay, I have already read the story, but I wanted to add this to my collection. It looks so pretty. First, let's see something about the plot of the Last Hours series. Now, it deals with the story of Cordelia Castes, who's 16 years old, and she travels through various countries due to certain reasons, and now she is coming to London in order to gain the trust of some of the few Shadowhunter families in order to restore the honor of her family. Why she has to restore the honor is something which you have to read and understand. Now, the special thing about this series is that ever since the Infernal Devices ended, until the starting of the Last Hours, there haven't been many demon attacks, particularly in London alone, and there are various reasons for which the demon attacks do not happen, and they are revealed slowly throughout the story. That's actually the entire plot of the book. What happens is that at a point, a sudden demon onslaught starts, and a disease starts spreading for all the people who are attacked by the demons, and there is no available cure right now for that disease. So the cure for the disease, as well as the reason behind why these demons are arising so suddenly after so many years of being absent, is the actual plot of the book. And I should say that the plot is not the actual main focus, just like in any of the other Shadowhunters books. The characters, their development, and the relationships that they form, that's the main focus of the book. But I should say, though the plot is there, it's not a major focus of the book. For the 600 pages, nearly 600 pages that the book has, the plot actually just takes place for half the book, and for the rest half of the book we just get the characters about whom we'll be discussing next. Now, there are multiple characters that act within this single book, and that's one of the main reasons why the book is so big. And I should also say that none of the characters seems boring in any way. Off the top of my head, I was able to think 15 main characters in the story, of whom I'll be telling them right now. I cannot remember them in a proper way, so I've just written them down here. So I'll not be giving you the family names of any of the characters except Cordelia, who's Cordelia Castes. I'll be saying the names of the other characters in the way in which they are important to the story, if you ask me. Now we have Cordelia, James, Lucy, Matthew, Alistair, Thomas, Christopher, Anna, Jesse, Grace, Charles, Magnus. Of course, Magnus should be there in any Shadowhunters book. Tatiana, and heads of the London Institute. Who are the current heads of the London Institute? I'm not saying head, just remember heads. And at last, Brother Zachariah. Okay, if you've read the Infernal Devices and the Mortal Instruments, you know who Brother Zachariah is and who are the heads of the London Institute right now. That is after the end of the Infernal Devices. The casting of characters is just so extreme. But one thing which bumps me a little is the amount of characters that we have, because it gets a lot of time to just remember this huge cast of characters. There are 15 main characters, and who's the children of whom? That itself becomes a bit confusing at times, because we have 4 main families who are the Castes, Herondales, Lighthoods, Fairchilds, and Blackthorns. Sorry, 5 main families, and all these characters are from these 5 families, and some names are occurring in both the families, so it will be confusing when you start reading the book. But I can say that if you make sense of the characters in a proper way, so while you get to know any character for the first time, just understand who they are in a proper way, then proceed with the story. Don't just speed read. If you just get the hold of who the characters are, I'm sure that you'll definitely enjoy this. Now, speaking about the world building in this one, I cannot say that the world building in the Last Hours is anything different from the Mortal Instruments and the Infernal Devices. I have not read the Dark Artifices yet, but I can say that there's not that much of world building that's done in the last hours by Cassie, if you ask me personally. It might occur in the later books in the series. I hope it will, because I've seen in the way in which this world has expanded so far from the books that I've read, and she has a lot of potential, and this world has a lot of places to explore, which will be explored for sure, if you ask me. The world in this book is actually not the physical places that are described continuously. Of course, London is the main setup, so we get to know a lot of different Shadowhunter places within London. But apart from that, one thing which I liked a lot about the world building in this one is I have not seen that much of politics that is going on in the infernal devices and the mortal instruments. But in this one, the politics played a really major role. At least in the infernal devices, we had political plot going on, but in the mortal instruments, it was totally for the characters alone, and I do enjoy that kind of books a lot more. I was able to understand how she was building the world through the politics that she introduced in this one, and what are the things that people do in order to get themselves strong or make themselves strong in the political world of the Shadowhunters. It was very interesting to read. Moving on to the writing, I should say that just like in any of the other Shadowhunters books, except City of Bones, the writing is pretty much accessible and it is not boring or jarring in any way. There are not infodumps at all. She knows how to weave the story well in this one. I was able to see the growth as an author from Cassandra Clare in this one a lot, and I should say I enjoyed it totally. I would recommend this to beginners, but should this be your first Shadowhunters series or book, I'll definitely say no, because if you read this one, you will definitely totally spoil the infernal devices as well as some parts of the mortal instruments before getting to read both the series. So I'd highly advise you to finish reading the infernal devices at least, and then move on to the last hours, because however, if you finish the infernal devices, you will be spoiled for the epilogue of City of Heavenly Fire. But if you don't read infernal devices at all and jump into this one, there are multiple moments inside that series which will definitely be ruined, and you'll not be able to enjoy all those specific angsty moments that are very much specific to the series. And I should say that this is a really accessible book, but in order to read this one, it's very much advisable to finish reading the infernal devices, then start this. Finally, in the spoiler-free section, talking about the pacing of Chain of Gold, I should say that it was pretty much well paced. It was consistently paced. It wasn't fast, it wasn't slow either. The pace was really normal, and it didn't seem on and off in many instances. Also, we get certain entries from the past inside the story, which go well with the writing, if you ask me. It's not like we just jump from the actual plotline and go to the past and see the things that are going on there and come back here. The pieces from the past that are included in between the present chapters are things which actually make pieces fit together, and it was very well done in that way, if you ask me. And obviously I rated this one 5 stars. There were certain things which just bummed me, like the number of characters and the number of people that I had to remember who are the main characters alone. It was a bit jarring for me, but except that, I cannot say anything negative about this one. Also, it need not have been this long. There could have been a bit more improvement of the plot, but overall I enjoyed it, and so I rated it 5 stars. So yeah, that's it for the spoiler-free part, and now I'll be jumping into spoilers. Okay, in the discussion, I just want to discuss all the characters and their origins first. So we have 4 main couples from the infernal devices who are following into this one, of which 2 families, two of the couples are Lightwoods itself. So we are going to have a lot more Lightwoods in the last hours rather than any of the other families. First, the main pair, Will and Tessa. They have 2 children, James and Lucy. If you ask me, both of them take over Will rather than Tessa in many ways, because I was able to see that snarkiness that they have inherited from Will a lot, and also it was very, very interesting to see. Okay, while I read Tales from the Shadowhunter Academy, there was no character description for Lucy. It was just shown that she is present there, but James was shown to be a very shy character and very he was such a guarded character, if you ask me. But while reading it in this one, he didn't seem like that at all. It looked like he had grown a lot. On the other hand, Lucy is very much she's not that much maturely shown in this one. The things that she does and the decisions that she makes are appropriate for her age, but she's shown kind of like a childlike character. So I did like that variation that they showed between James and Lucy, but I saw a lot of Will rather than Tessa in both of these characters. So I expect to see somewhat of Tessa inherited somewhere in the future. And the next one is Gabriel and Cecily. They also have 3 children, of which the first one is Anna Lightwood, who's the coolest character of all. Okay, if you ask me, there wasn't that much of Magnus in this one, so I can definitely say that Anna Lightwood was the coolest of all the characters, and I liked her a lot. Okay, every scene in which she came, she was like taking the center spot, and she just turned eyes towards her, which was very, very interesting to read. And after that, we have two more children who are Christopher and Alexander. Okay, Alexander, I was able to see this is the person whom Alec is named after, if you ask me, as far as I can see. And Christopher is a genius. I can see that. Okay, he takes more like Henry's character, and I thought that okay, he's a genius, so he will spend a lot of time with Henry, and I was totally correct. He did. And after that, the next pair we get Gideon and Sophie. Okay, Gideon and Sophie's children are like sweet plums, if you ask me. I just liked Thomas Lightfoot a lot. Okay, Thomas and Alec, both of them are the exact same people, as well as Anna and Izzy are kind of the same people, because a lot of Anna's traits I can see in Isabel also. At the same time, I can see Thomas as such in Alec, and I don't understand why Magnus didn't see that. Okay, it was a bit confusing for me. I think it will be explored a lot more in the later half of the series. Let's just wait and see. And the other sibling who died is Barbara Lightfoot. After that, we have Tatiana. Tatiana has two children now. They are Grace and Jesse. I did not expect Jesse's ghost to occur here. I knew that Jesse was dead while I read the Bane Chronicles, but I did not expect him to show up in here. It was very interesting to know his backstory first, and then read how his future has continued after his death. And after that, Grace. Okay, Grace was a very, very, very creepy character, guys. Just believe me. Okay, while I read the Midnight Air story in the Bane Chronicles, it was one of those stories which just confused me a lot. And yeah, it was fun to read. But Grace was such a creepy character then itself. And in this one, the creep just multiplied multifold. It was really, really creepy. That's the only word that I can use to describe Grace in this one. Also, I don't see why she was grown in such a way by Tatiana. Okay, there are obvious reasons in order to get James under their control, but I think there is more to that than just this. And after this, we have our main heroine. Okay, Cordelia and her brother Alistair. Okay, both of them are Sona and Elias's children. And yeah, it was really, really interesting to see such diverse cast of characters. They are diverse in every sense, if you ask me, and there are a lot of queer characters. Okay, in the main characters itself, we have a lot of queer characters. Matthew Fairchild is bi. Oh, I forgot Henry and Charlotte. They have two sons, Charles and Matthew. And Charles's middle name is Buford, which Henry wanted to name his first child from the Infernal Devices, and I was just so happy that Charles got a stupid name and not Matthew. There are multiple characters who are queer in this one. I think Anna's bi, Matthew's definitely bi, he has said it himself, and Alistair's gay. Thomas is also most probably gay, as per as I've seen since things until now. That's a lot of queer characters in the main cast itself from the other series I've read so far in the Shadowhunter Chronicles, and it was pretty well done, if you ask me. Another really good part which I liked about the story is the Merry Thieves and the name given to them, that is the Merry Thieves. The four boys together, they were such a good gang to see and to read. They were so fun. Okay, that's how boy gang will be, if you ask me, because I've been in some and it was just reflected as such, if you ask me, but with certain differences because of the world in which it is portrayed and the time during which the story takes place. It was very, very fun and interesting to see such a gang there, but they also include the other people inside the gang. That's the main thing which I liked. They don't exclude their siblings just for the fact that they are younger or elder to them. They include everyone in the gang, and it was pretty well. Okay, I just loved that concoction of different characters as the Merry Thieves put together. Also, one thing which I didn't like about this one is that it overdid the parameterizing a lot. Okay, I didn't see anything that was worth it due to the parameter bond that was shown in this one. Emphasizing it again and again, it just makes me so irritated. I did not see parameter bond working so well except for Will and Jem. Even in the Mortal Instruments, I did not see that much of parameter moments or things that connected both Jace and Alec in the Mortal Instruments also. In this one especially, that parameterizing was much overdone, if you ask me. At least within the 600 pages of the book, 40 to 50 times the word parameter came again and again and again, and it was so much frustrating for me throughout the time, especially when it was said like James could feel the presence of Matthew and Matthew could feel the same with James. It was it was so much. Okay, at times if she had just used it once or twice, it would have been good, but as the time passed, it was just going on to innumerable numbers, if you ask me. I was not even able to keep track. It just felt like an ongoing, annoying, irritating thing continuously. It did not just stop with James and Matthew alone also. It carried forward with Lucy and Cordelia also, who are not technically Parvati yet. It was so much overdone, if you ask me. Especially, okay. Will and Jem, I was able to see that connection happening in that series, but definitely I was not able to see that here as well as in the Immortal Instruments. Okay, judge anything that you want, but I was not able to see that parallel connection going on between Jace and Alec. They just felt like good brothers and good friends, nothing more than that. And in this one also, they felt like very good friends. I was not able to see that parallel thing that Will and Jem had in the past in any of the future parallel. Talking about the powers of James and Lucy, those are really cool elements to the story, if you ask me. Ever since I read Tales from the Shadowhunter Academy and the Brain Chronicles, in which James had the power to transform into shadows, I was very much pumped to read this because that is such a unique power, and I cannot think that as a liability in any circumstances, if you ask me, other than the fact that his mother's partly a warlock, and that itself is a bit of a problem for them due to other people, not on their own, and it was shown well in this one. But that power is a really unique and very useful gift, if you ask me. Also, Lucy's power is much better than that. She can summon ghosts. Okay, she can literally, the girl can summon ghosts, and she's not even 18 yet, and I just admire that quality a lot. I did see the potential of that power coming along, and that scene in which she brings the ghost in order to save Cordelia from the Thames, it was such a good scene. It just reminded me of a scene from Crooked Kingdom in which Nina uses her power and she does something different. It's not with ghosts, but it's with corpses. It just felt like that scene to me, and it was very interesting. Okay, because in Crooked Kingdom, Nina saves Inej, and in this one, Lucy ends up saving Cordelia, which was fun, if you ask me. Okay, it was nice, but just don't tell that parrot word again and again. If you're just meaning to say that they mean a lot to each other as friends and as partners, I'm able to understand. But that single word, paradise, being repeated again and again, it's a bit annoying, and I definitely did like the exploration of those powers in this one a lot. The love triangles in this one was also quite a bit angsty, if you ask me, because I did like it a lot. The first love triangle which I liked a lot was that between James, Cordelia, and Grace. Okay, it's not actually love between James and Grace. It is not at all. So I was not able to see the connection between them at any instant, but between James and Cordelia, I was able to see it at various instances, especially in the Hell Royal, because it was so obvious. Okay, there is some spark going on between these two people, and at the end, when they decide to marry for a year and then get divorced, I'm sure, okay, things are going to get complicated and they are going to start feeling things in a different way, especially James, because Cordelia knows what she feels and James doesn't. He's going to know that pretty soon, and the plates are going to be changed, and the table is going to be rotated. Something's going to happen like that, and it definitely has a lot of potential, and I did like that element. Apart from the main love triangle, we also have others like Thomas, Charles, and Alistair. Okay, I liked that one also because it is very obvious that Thomas is not that much out with his feelings with anyone. Alistair is with Charles alone, and Charles is also with Alistair alone, but Charles is not the right person for Alistair. At the same time, Thomas is attracted toward Alistair. There are a lot of things going on, and towards the end, I thought two characters coming together, that is like Thomas and Alistair, I thought they would end up together in this book itself. Not like in a great way, just at least the start of a relationship. It was ruined. Okay, it was ruined, and it seemed pretty decent also, because after the things that was said in this, I could not expect them to get together so quickly. It might happen sometime in the future. Alistair might get a redemption and things might work out between them, but I should say that love triangle also was something which I did like. Another one which I liked was that between Lucy, Jesse, and Matthew. It was also really interesting to see. Another love triangle is between the main pair and the paradise, that is James, Matthew, and Cordelia. It was just like Will, Jem, and Tessa from TID, but I don't see that amount of potential in that in the ship. If Matthew and Lucy get together at some time, it'll be great, because it'll be like paradise marrying paradise each other, and it'll be nice in some way because they'll be able to battle together no matter what happens always, and the handles will stick together. That is something that's terribly going to happen to either Lucy or James. I can't see that coming, because nothing ever happens all good for the Herondales ever. I'm going to wait and see how it turns out, and yeah, it was fun to see all those love triangles just like in any of the other Shadowhunter series. Especially the way in which Lucy and Jesse, they helped each other. It was very nice in many ways, if you ask me. It started from Idris and it just made its way through London, and the conversations that they have, they don't seem romantic at any instant, but there is something going on between them which I cannot put a finger on it and name properly, but there is something interesting going on between these two characters which I do think will have a lot of potential towards the ending of the series. And I can see in some way that Lucy is not a person who's going to give up on letting Jesse die and vanish out of the world. I think she's going to do something like necromancy and bring this guy back. It might happen, okay? I do think that it's going to happen. She's such a creative person. She's also a very stubborn person, if I'm not wrong, because she's Will's daughter, and it might happen pretty soon. I did not expect Jesse to give his last breath to save James, okay? I thought that Lucy might die sometime, and that his breath might be used to save her, but it did not happen in that way. He ended up giving it to James, and I don't think James was that much worth it, because he just caused trouble to many other people, just like any other Herondale afterwards. Also, one thing which I liked a lot was the scene in which they break the pyxis, let the demon out, it goes away, and exactly at that moment Magnus appears in the story, okay? There is only a really small amount of work for Magnus in the whole book, okay? I think his work is not even for 2 or 3 pages max, okay? And it was really interesting to see him. I thought that there won't be Magnus in this series, because in the Midnight Year itself, he says to Tatiana Blackthorn and Ghost that he'll not be returning to London for quite a while now, and it is made clear that he is in New York and he's kind of settled in New York right now. But he does come back after hearing the tale of the Herondales from Ragnar, and he comes back and he decides to stay towards the end of the book, which is fun because we are going to get a lot more of Magnus's deeds in Chain of Iron and Chain of Thorns, which I'm very pumped to read, okay? By the way, I've also pre-ordered Chain of Iron, which will be arriving pretty soon after it gets released. My plan is to read it as soon as I can in March. Let's just wait and see how it's going to go. But I did like the various concoctions, especially Magnus being put in that particular scene, because Magnus was the one who helped Will to deal with that demon thing, which kind of cursed him, and it was fun to see that being played out for Will's children also with Magnus in this one. And it is like Magnus says some funny line like it seems like the Herondales don't give up their tendency to take poor decisions, and James and Lucy are like, yeah, they same like that. It's something repeating on like that, and I just liked it a lot. Also, Matthew liking Magnus, I did see that coming, because they two are very much similar characters, okay? Very similar characters. Despite the age difference, I think Magnus and Matthew are pretty much the same people, but I can see Magnus trying to help Matthew a lot in this one, because he can see that this little boy is in trouble, and he can use his wisdom and his experience in order to bring him out of that trouble. Also, he was the one who helped Will in the past series, so it's only logical and practical that he's going to help Matthew also in this one, because paratype again and it's definitely going to work out in that way. Finally, I want to talk about our antagonist in this one, who's Tatiana Blackthorn, okay? She is shown as kind of the main antagonist from the beginning of the book itself. We do get the greater demon Belial, I don't know how to pronounce it, I'm just going to say Belial, okay? Belial comes, and Tatiana has been plotting with him the whole time, ever since the past itself. That is when the Herondales used to live in Idris, and when James was just a little kid. And the amount of scheming that has been done by Tatiana, and how she's used Jesse as bait in order to lure James into her plan. It was so well done, if you ask me. It's not even a scheming and plot that's done during the time of the series. It has happened like at least a decade before the starting of this one, and I was able to see all those things crystallizing towards the end. I think it's in the epilogue or something, I'm not sure. It's the last chapter of the book. It was very fun to read. One thing which I did not want in this edition, okay, this is the Collector's Best edition, which I luckily got, is that last chapter of Will and Tessa, which we get at the end. Okay, I am a person who ships Jem and Tessa more than Will and Tessa, because I don't like Will as much as I like Jem and Tessa. Okay, my most favorite is Jem. After that, Tessa, and well, I'll just put him in the last place if you ask me, because all the other characters, they stood out in some way or the other for me while reading the Infernal Devices. But I do think that Will Herondale is so much overrated, and that line which Tatiana says to Will on his wedding day, it was something which was so strong, and I'm able to see all those things going to be crystallizing towards the end, and she has started plotting then itself because she knows that her child is not good, and she blames the Blackthorns, the Carstairs and the Lightwoods, and also
okay guys,
the
that's all for today. And if you did enjoy watching today's video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and also share it to your friends.
I can see more content from me. Do subscribe to the channel because I publish new videos every Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday.
her mind.
Thanks for watching and have a great rest of your day. I can say the Lightwoods are people who are not going to who are not going to give up, and definitely Tatiana is a Lightwood. She is a person who was a Lightwood, and she's definitely not going to give up on them. Also, I cannot see any descendants of the Blackthorns, but we do have Blackthorns in the Immortal Instruments, and the Blackthorns are one of the main families in the Dark Artificers, so there must be some other person who is a Blackthorn that's going to come up in the later part of the series, or there's going to be something like Jesse coming back alive, and I'm not able to understand. He's been dead for quite a few years now, and if he comes back now, how old will he be? Will it be the age of his body, or will it be his actual age? Okay guys, that's all for today, and if you did enjoy watching today's video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and also share it to your friends. If you want to get more content from me, do subscribe to the channel because I publish new videos every Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday and Saturday. Thanks for watching and have a great rest of your day.